Dana and Dubazich. These events, while they're free to attend, aren't free to put on. And Dan and Dana, thank you so much for stepping up. Like our governor, Mitch Daniels, you spent much of your life in the private sector, and you've had to make ends meet, live within the means. When you were called upon in a very special circumstance, unique as it was, to really save the Olympics in 2002, could you draw on some lessons learned from that experience and how you might apply that to the federal platform?
Well, I'll tell you, I learned from watching your governor. You got an extraordinary governor. I'll tell you that. He's the chief of staff and chairman of the party too. So this is what a team. We're watching what's happening here. I mean, Indiana is proving that conservative principles work in government. For a long time, people have thought that government and business and the not-for-profit sector are all very, very different. But actually, the principles that apply in business do pretty well in government as well. This idea that you face up to your problems honestly, that you look at data, that you gather information, that you work with people across the table to see if you can find common ground, those are principles that work. I had the fun of going out to Salt Lake City to help organize their Olympics after they got in trouble. I'd spent 25 years in business at that point. And the governor of that state, having seen that my work entailed turnarounds, fixing things that had been broken, said, maybe you can help us fix the Olympics. And you know what, it was, I have to be honest, it was the experience of a lifetime. Because I came into an organization where everyone was pulling together. We knew we were in for something bigger than ourselves. We'd all lose our job on the same day. Can you imagine having an organization with literally thousands of employees, a budget of almost $2 billion, and we all knew that at a certain day we'd all be out of work. And yet we worked our hearts out. And we did the things that you always do in a turnaround. Number one, focus. Focus, focus. Focus on the most important aspects of what you're doing and get that done right. That's the crazy thing about watching President Obama in this economy. He came in with the economy going down. Instead of focusing his energy on the economy, he delegated that to Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid. And then he went off on his own agenda. And now, 3 years later, he's trying to make up for it, flailing around looking for answers. He does not know how to fix this economy. That's why he's going to be gone. So number one was focus, focus, focus on the things that were most important. Number two is make sure you put a great team in place. Have the right people to do the job that needs to be done. If you've ever been in a turnaround, you know that you focus on what's important, then you get the right people to make it work, because you can't do it all by yourself. Now, the president put together a team. Let's say you somehow were elected president of the United States, and the economy was in terrible shape. Who would you surround yourself with? Who would you put in your cabinet? Well, he chose politicians and academics, no business people. Can you imagine such a thing? Wouldn't you say, I'm going to have small business people and big business people and people who understand how the economy works around me? But that's not what he did. So number one, focus. Number two was getting a great team around me. And then number three was counting on some very good people in the community to come together. We knew that we needed a lot of volunteers at our Olympics. I didn't know exactly how many when I came in the door. We needed 24,000 people to give us 17 straight days. And in exchange for that, guess how many tickets they got to Olympic events? None. They'd be working the whole time. And these were glamorous jobs like parking lot attendant, cleaning off the chairs at the Olympic events of snow, because a lot of these events were outdoors, and if it snowed overnight, people had to get there in the morning and clean off all the snow from these bleachers. Those are the kinds of jobs they worked. And I wondered, in a city of, I don't know, 150,000 or so in Salt Lake City, whether we could get 24,000 adults to give us 17 straight days without pay. I wondered about asking people to give and to serve, as we would be asking those folks, particularly after the games had been besmirched by stories of corruption and bribery. And so on the big day, we went on the air, we advertised on the radio, went on the web and said, please sign up if you want to be a volunteer. 47,000 people signed up. 47,000 people. And so we had to sift through to make sure that we had the best that we could possibly have, and told a lot of folks, I'm sorry, you can't be a volunteer. We have so many volunteers. And And that's what made the game so special. The people who, afterwards, the guy who was the producer for NBC Sport, his name is, and he's the president, or was, of NBC Sports, named Dick Ebersol. He said these were the most successful Olympics we've ever had. And the reason for that was those 24,000 some odd people, Americans, who knew we were in trouble, needed help, who said, I'll serve, I'll volunteer. It is so quintessentially American that any enterprise in trouble, if one draws upon the goodness of the American spirit and the greatness of America, will be successful. And that's a lesson I learned from the Olympics, and I appreciate that opportunity. Perhaps one of the finest opportunities in life was to be part of something where people give of themselves. It is in the nature of Americans to give and sacrifice for the things we love. And it's one of the reasons I love this country. Thank you.